Hi everybody, thank you guys for joining me today. It is prime artifact viewing time, and as you guys know, we've taken a little bit of a break from our stone artifacts that you guys can see here. One of the weirder human hominid representations, which isn't as scary as it really looks. What the situation is that we're looking at the outside with the big hole that's in here. You can stick your whole finger in it for the eye, but really the silhouette is on the interior of this section. It's in the other color that you can see. So it's a very complicated art for sure. But thanks for sticking with me while we check out this weird art. So as we talked about before, these artifacts are very unique in the way that they were layered. We can see an example of that right here, where we have individual sheets that actually have silhouettes on them that are all removable. You might be able to start to see some of them here portrayed. Give you a minute if you want to pause the video and take a look at that. So for the first image that you can see, we can see the bird beak represented here on the left hand side and the big circle eye. So just look at the whole outside image as if it is a bird head. Now we can see that this may even represent a man with his lips here. So now the nose, maybe the eye, instead of being this round dot, turns into this beautiful eye right here. There are layers and layers of images on here, and I'll go ahead and remove a few of these now so that you can see. So each one of these individual ones, sometimes they're men, sometimes they're women, and what happens is they chip off. That little piece that we saw that just chipped off here, they chip off in the way of little bird men and bird characters. You can see if you look closely in the yellow face here at the very bottom, there's a little man with his little indentation for lips just in the whiter section facing to the right, and he does have that giant bird on his head. The bird is facing to the left or the right depending on your perception. Now this bird also is a bird in flight. So now we can see how I'm holding the right wing is on the right hand side. The left wing is that little tab, and you can see the little beak and the details for that bird's eye. Looking closely into the eye, you can see the little tiny eye for that flying bird. Let's check out our other piece here. We can see how this is probably two characters stuck together. I can see this right side profile pretty well. And then just in the yellow, we can see probably perhaps some more. Let's look closely at this face here. That little tiny ripple or indentation for lips. And continuing on, we'll go through a few of these a little bit quicker. But I want you guys to see the characters of the ancient people. So for this effigy, you can see how it is a representation of the bird with the head on the left hand side. And if you look closely, you can see the spot for the eye. There's my little pen. Right there, see the little dot? That dot is probably removable, yep. So not only is it this bird, someone scaring their kid with a bug, it's pretty funny. Let's go back to the main image here and let's look at some of the larger faces that are going to be able to come out of this. We'll use our brush a little bit, and we're going to brush a lot of this off all at once, so be prepared. You guys can see the left side profile. We're already splitting in half here. So I see a bunch We can see this beautiful carving for this eye on the top section here. Let's go ahead and pull this sheet off and take a look at it individually. Oh, I just broke his face. So we'll be able to see these carvings for eyes. It's not popping right out at me just yet, so just hang tight. Wow. So there are several sheets on this still to be taken off. We can see how these little spots here are done for the eyes. Let's go and pull off a few more sheets. There we have that clay pack in the person's eye, you can see. And under that clay pack, should be able to see the details and the carvings for that swoop eye that you guys can see. See how the carvings and the details come out. You guys are going to start to see characters that I am not seeing. You'll start to see bird heads. Might have broken off that person's beak. Here in the yellow, of course, you can see, I mean, it's silhouette on top of silhouette. So we have small ones on top of larger ones. Sorry for my sloppy pointing there. I'm trying to look at them all as well. See if we can take this chip off to make our one yelling mouth character. And as we take those chips off, on the right hand side, you can see how these little smiley faced characters, these gods, see how these little human silhouettes come out of here. It's not pareidolia. You can go and break your rocks. And let me see you show this. If you can break a piece of slate and just show face after face after face like this, then you're dealing with an artifact. You're not dealing with natural formations. Looking further on this human's head, you can see that this whole section that's carved out, this is actually intricately carved in the ancient style, the ancient designs. You should be able to see patterns and diamonds and triangles and lines and things inside of that. We can point this face at us just a little bit so that you can see some of those. This is what is looking like a very old style of the art. We can actually see both eyes, left and right eye perhaps. But I'm seeing a very archaic or old style bird on top of this person's head. It looks like a very old bird man. Again, we can see how these silhouettes just pop out. Okay. Showing you again how these memes of these, this is a meme of an ancient bird head or a modern bird head. Birds have remained the same. So here in the shadows, of course, you can see more and more silhouettes coming out. Sorry for that weird comment about you do it, you try it. It's kind of weird. It's just, try it. I mean, with all due respect. Unless you're picking these artifacts up from North Carolina, you won't find what we're finding here. You see how our silhouette has changed. Transforms for us to show us a different image. This time with a mohawk, perhaps. There's even a lot of paint up here. Looks like they did put a hole in the eye for the character here. Let's flip this over and see. Maybe it's easier to see. Fascinating. Fascinating. Really comes out well this way. All right, we're still on the same artifact here, guys. This is going to take a while. See how long this situation, how complicated this stuff is. Some of these I'm just going to kind of toss to the side a little bit. You guys will be able to see them, but going to kind of move a little bit faster so that you guys can see as I brush this off. Hopefully you'll be able to see the bird heads positioned and the humans, which oftentimes have their hands raised. That's what this was that I just broke off. It was this person's hand. He always is sitting there with his hand raised. And I'm seeing so much. You guys can see the carving for the eye here, for the silhouette. And as he separates, you can see how the little indentation for the lips comes out every time. There's our character there. We can flip it over and find some different ones. These are really complicated and complex. I could show you the face on every single one, as I've demonstrated before, but we have a lot to do, and they had a lot to do too. So I really do appreciate you guys taking the time with me to explore these artifacts. These guys it took a long time for them to make them, so it's very important that we try to honor that as much as possible. So what we're looking at, of course, are bird heads, and we're getting into some color down here. You can see how this large clay pack section is put on the eye of this character. That eye section is removable, and it's the same on every single one. So where the eye is supposed to be on these guys, you can always take that pack off and then look underneath the eye and find those ancient, beautiful diamond-shaped carvings that you can see. You can see the character down below. It should be getting pretty easy. It's getting pretty easy for me. All right, let's go ahead and brush off all these styles of bird that you can see. Take a look at our next large piece here. See the little ripple for lips and this triangle head motif. We can see the bird head pretty well. Then on this side, of course, again with that removable eye. Did we remove it? It's usually just a little flake right there. And not usually, but every single time. And that's the thing about this art, is everyone was so disciplined. They did it scientifically. They did it mathematically. It's not by accident that they did this. No way. No, this was intentional. Like I said, probably generational. More than likely, they're the ones who died and flooded the plain to begin with and created these different colored layers. You can see these profiles starting to stick out at the end here. You go ahead and clear off our table. And I know it probably looks bad just doing that, but this is it's kind of what we are. It's the nature of the art, and I'm okay with doing it. Not to say I have permission to do it, but it's for a reason. So, guys, we could work on this thing all day. So we see the yellow eye, the painting for the eye of the silhouette here. There's so many more layers still to this book. You can see all of them coming out, and you can see this beautiful swooping beak, the way the beak is carved and pointing upward. So we could chop off some more if you'd like, try to get out some more, but we could try to get down to the core, but what I've found is getting down to the core is pretty tough without just completely destroying the rest of it. So let's go ahead and just let it rest for now, and we can pick up some more later. Here we have what I'd like to show is evidence, physical evidence. So we have a effigy here that you can see is split in the middle, painted on both ends, and when we put it back together again, it does make its own full image. It does have a human, you can see carved in onto the right hand side there, and we could try to flip it over. So it is a full effigy, but cut and painted in the middle here. So let's start off with this one, and we'll brush off what we can so that maybe we can see the colors and perhaps make out something. Oh, here we are, of course. Just a big bird. We can see the little beak and the eye, the way the wings are done. And looking further down here, we should get the color just a little better, but it is also a big duck head too. It has a yellow beak. And then moving over to the sides here, we'll be able to see these humans coming out. They're characters, little pokey lips. Different kinds. I'm gonna go ahead and face them upward because that's the way the sun is right now, and it really helps. You can see how the bird is represented here with a little spiky crest. Very beautiful. Well, let's go ahead and flip everything upside down and see how it looks upside down. Perhaps another bird facing to the left, or just an old human. Old grandfather man. Here we have a bird man. Classic American bird man with his bird beak. You can see how the eyes could be here or here. Beautiful representation of our bird man, respectfully. And the other piece here, you know, as we discussed before, these folks, they were in it for the long term. They were picking up archaeological sites too and learning a lot from the people that were there before them. So they knew about archaeology and they knew how to preserve their art. They wanted to keep it, and so they layered it. They packed it in clay, and they put all their art in as many little places as they possibly could. They gave us these little hints. They tried to show us. They try to show us. And you won't be able to see the color, but you can see the silhouettes. And then as I tilt it, you'll be able to see the color of the human there. Very beautiful. This is a very beautiful bird artifact, but it's a bird, a human. It's a mixture of a human and a bird together, as is always shown in American art. I mean, as I've said before, indigenous groups still today they dress up like birds. And I'm surprised they don't dress up like mammoths, because that was a big part of their culture as well. All right, guys, thanks for joining me today. We have a final core to check out in honor of the Birdman. You can see again his big nose here. And I know you're just able to see the silhouettes, but I'll poke it up a little bit so we can see some more color. This is a core which is at the end of these effigies, whenever you get them down, all the way down to the very bottom. It's very, very cool stuff. So, really thank you guys for joining me today, and, you know, we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.